There we go.
Welcome to the world, right? Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Otsego City Council meeting. Tonight is Monday, December 13th. Audra, can you have the record show that all council members are present, along with our city administrator, our assistant city administrator, our attorney, our planner, and our engineer. At this time, I would like to invite you all to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Our first item of business this evening is the open forum. This is the portion of the meeting where you can come to the podium, state your name and address, and limit comments to 5 minutes or less. Would anyone like to speak at this time? All right, we will close the open forum and move on to item 2 to consider our agenda for approval. Does anyone have anything that they would like to add or delete at this time? A motion would be in order then.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Jeff, seconded by Tina. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item 3 is our consent agenda. Motion would be in order.
Madam Mayor,
Ms. Brittany,
I'll move to approve the consent agenda as written.
I second.
motion by Brittany, seconded by Jeff. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item 4, we will move on to Adam's presentation of the 2022 budget and property tax levy.
Yes, Madam Mayor, sorry.
No, that's all right.
All right, thank you. We are at the end of the 2022 budget process after 11 meetings prior to this evening. So tonight we are hosting the Truth and Taxation Public Input Session as far as that goes. So most of this information has been reviewed with you prior to the meeting, so I'll go rather quickly. You do have handout of the slides in front of you as well. So before we start, I don't see anybody in the crowd with valuation questions, but that is not the focus of this meeting. There are separate local Board of Appeal and Equalization meetings held annually between April 1st and May 31st. For this year, that meeting was on April 26th and was continued to May 12th. Truth and taxation is required by statute, and the purpose of the meeting is to discuss the budgets, property tax levy, and provide an opportunity for local input into the budgeting process. The 5 vision statements outlined in the city strategic plan are listed here. All of this is to guide the budget process for staff and council, and all of these strategic visions have been incorporated with budget additions for 2022. The process early on, council outlines the budget goals and objectives for the next year. Staff prepares proposed budgets. Those are reviewed during special city council meetings. As I mentioned before, we've had 11 of those to date. In September, the council adopted a preliminary tax levy, which is the maximum amount that you can levy for the following year. And then the final budget adoption would be considered by the council tonight. General fund, I'll go through this. Revenues are increasing $735,000 over the 2021 budget, with the 2 major drivers being property taxes and licenses and permits as budget drivers there. The property taxes account for around 68-69% of total general fund revenues. And there's a chart to show graphically these items that are included in summary form. Expenditures total $7,347,416. This is a balanced budget. So revenues equal expenditures. So there's no use in fund balance. There's no use of cash reserves within the budget. The pie charts indicate by expenditure function the proportion of the budget and a comparison graph for 2021. Not much change year over year in terms of the allocation of the budget, but again, increasing 735,000. And we'll go through some of those details here shortly. The general government function is wide ranging, includes city council, city administration, elections, assessing, finance, IT, legal, human resources, and our city buildings. So this budget increased 222,000 over 2021, with some of the drivers, including administrative internship. 2022 is an election year, so our budget goes up and down with that. So that's adding 68,000 to the budget. Our assessor's contract increased with Wright County. We are adding an additional finance staff person to a budget impact of $29,000. We're conducting an information security risk analysis for 15 and seeing the full impact of our staffing change with the HR assistant city administrator from our previous staffing model accounts for 34,000. So on a per capita basis, $3 change year over year for general government. Public safety accounts for police protection, public safety commission, fire protection, building safety, emergency management, and animal control. This function is increasing 300,000 year over year with the three major drivers. The law enforcement contract with Wright County at 42,000, fire and emergency response contracts with Elk River, Rogers, and Albertville totaling 172,000, and the building official and inspections contract at 58,000. Again, with a per capita increase of $1 year over year. Public Works accounts for street maintenance, engineering, streetlights, and fleet management, a $121,000 increase over the 2021 budget. There is a full-time staff maintenance addition in the street department. The cleanup day event is budgeted for in 2022 as it was not in 2021. That is budgeted as a no sum line item, so there is an equal amount of revenue budgeted for that event as well. Compost site maintenance equipment at 12,000. Streetlight electricity, as we add more and more streetlights and electricity prices continue to increase, that amount goes up. And then vehicle and equipment maintenance supplies increasing 18,000. This actually saw a per capita decrease of $1 from 2021. Culture and recreation accounts for park maintenance, recreation, the Park and Rec Commission, and the HPC. So a budget increase of 59,000 with some of that being caused by park maintenance supplies, whether that's wood mulch, chips for the playground, irrigation, park utilities also increasing with irrigation and electricity, liability and property insurance. This is one of our largest expenses with our insurance policy due to all the parks that we have. And then the Prairie Festival and community events combined for an increase of 9,400. And also a $1 per capita decrease in this function. Economic development increased 32,000. The major driver there is the city is due for its comprehensive plan update. So that work will begin early in 2022 and was the sole reason for an increase. The last update was done in 2012. So consistent with other cities, usually focusing on a 10-year update cycle for that. Property tax levy for 2022 is $8,585,000. The differentiation between general revenue, capital reserves, debt service, and tax abatement portions of that levy are shown graphically and numerically there. And then on the bottom, a per capita tax amount of $430, which is actually down by $2 from 2021. This is further breaking down that tax levy by purpose. So general government remaining stable. Really the only one that's ebbing a little bit is capital improvement plan is increasing as we continue to focus on the future of the city and the growth that we expect to incur, setting aside appropriate reserves to fund future capital projects is become necessary and incorporated in the capital improvement plan. Tax capacity factors. It's important to remember that the Wright County Assessor sets these valuations. The Board of Appeal and Equalization again was held on April 26th. Current environment, market driven, is driving property values up year over year. Some information from the assessor indicates that residential across the city averaged 4.42%. The median value home increased over 12% from 2021 to 2022. So a significant increase there in the median value property within Otsego, and commercial, industrial, and agricultural properties also increasing on top of that. Some additional information, the total tax capacity for the city for payable 2022 is increasing just over $2 million. Residential properties continue to pay the largest portion of the property tax levy at 80%. You can see the residential graphically is climbing. Commercial industrial is starting to climb in the last 2 years as well. So with the construction of Coburn's and a coffee shop and some of the industrial projects that are in the works, such as RL Carriers, we'll continue to see that portion grow in the coming years. Just for some comparison purposes, these are preliminary tax rates that are used for the statements that every property owner within the city and Wright County would receive. For this purpose, other Wright County cities include St. Michael, Monticello, Albertville, Dayton, Delano, and Buffalo, all with higher tax rates than the city of Otsego. Just for comparison purposes, mostly Maple Grove and Hennepin County was the only one out of this group of cities that has a lower tax rate, much more established, larger community with significant commercial industrial development. So just for reference, Otsego is doing very well as far as the tax rate goes. Here's an illustration of a tax calculation for the median value property in Otsego. So all the way at the bottom line, you'll see an estimated property tax of $3,889. Again, this is for a median value home, increasing just shy of 12%. However, if you go all the way back up to the top, you remember the median value property increased by 12% there. So really all of that is being driven by the market value of that property and not necessarily by the tax rate or the tax levy from the city. The graph on the right just shows the allocation between this property tax calculation and what goes to the city, what goes to the school district at 44%, and then also at Wright County with 31%. Summary of the capital improvement plan. It is a 10-year plan, covers 2022 to 2031. It does not provide final authority for projects and or purchases. That comes at a later date before the city council. The estimated investment for 2022 is just over $23 million, and all capital improvement projects have feasible funding sources. Some of the large items for 2022 in the utility system, the expansion of the West Wastewater Treatment Facility is estimated at $15 million. This is a multi-year project with a total project cost at $37 million. Water Tower 4, continued work on that is estimated at $2 million. And then our pavement management fund with maintenance projects exceeding $980,000, and Wallish Estates renewal project at just under $900,000. So those are some significant projects in the CIP for 2022. Additional budgets that the council would be asked to adopt tonight would be the public utility funds. This accounts for water, sanitary sewer, and stormwater utilities. You'll see in the bottom right corner, there is a deficiency of revenues over expenditures. The reason for this is using cash balances on hand and cash reserves to equal this out over a 10-year period. So again, similar to the CIP, this is looked at on a 10-year scale, not a 1-year scale. And so all of this is factored into those 10-year financial plans with significant debt proceeds and capital outlay for some of the projects that were mentioned before. Debt service funds, there are 2 outstanding general obligation bonds that are covered through a property tax levy and or special assessments. The budget includes a levy of $547,187. Again, in the bottom right corner, there's a slight deficiency of revenues. That is cash on hand that will fund these bonds throughout the remaining cycle of their amortization schedules. Special revenue funds accounts for 3 tax increment districts within the city. These are self-sustaining. The proceeds, the new taxes generated on these projects funds the development incentives that were provided for them. So again, this is taking new taxes and putting it towards economic development and projects within the city. And lastly, public input. After that, council would be asked to consider adopting the budgets, adopting the tax levy, and adopting the CIP.
Thank you, Adam. So at this time, we are opening it up to the audience for public input. Please come to the podium, state your name and address if you have questions regarding any of the information that Adam presented this evening. Any public input? All right, we will bring it back up to council then. Any questions, comments, or adoption? Tom?
Madam Mayor, Adam, just to go over a few of the numbers that you are going through on page 4, shows in the revenues section.
This slide, Tom?
Yes. That on a per capita basis, our change from 2021 budgets to 2022 budget is an increase of $3 per capita,
That's correct.
and that would be less than 1% increase.
That's correct.
And when we look at the 2022 tax levy summary from 2021 to 2022, our levy is decreasing $2 per capita.
That's correct. So that net of $5 is made up through other revenue sources. The largest increase other than taxes were for licenses and permits. Most of that comes in the form of new building permits. So on every new construction project in the city, there are fees charged for that, and that's where that revenue increase would have.
And when you look at the tax rates and you look at us compared to other cities in Wright County, we seem to be, kind of like golf, the lower the number, the better.
The lower the number, the better, correct?
And are we the lowest in Wright County, or?
I can't answer that off the top of my head.
Okay,
There might be some smaller cities that have lower tax rates, but they wouldn't be comparable to our operations.
Sabrina shaking her head. I looked at it. Yeah,
Okay.
we're the lowest.
I just didn't
Yeah.
know.
okay, yep,
I didn't look at them all. so.
okay. I believe we are the lowest.
Yes.
In the county, and as you can see on the sheet, other than Maple Grove, which is a juggernaut on that sheet, we seem to be lower. As far as our bond rating, which is kind of a way that outside people view the financial health of Otsego, we have one of the better bond ratings a city can get out there.
The city has a AA+ bond rating from Standard & Poor's or S&P. And that is the second highest rating that the city can have.
And that gives us the ability to borrow money when we do those capital projects that you referred to in here. We're able to borrow at a much lower interest rate.
Similar to a credit score, the better your credit score, the better off you'll be in the interest rate environment.
I can sit there and say over the past, I think 15 years, our bond rating has continued to get better and better and better. It seems like the only issue we have for the city of Otsego is we're just not big enough to get that AAA bond rate.
That's definitely the largest component of that. Yes, you're correct.
That's all I have.
Any other questions or comments?
Mayor, I'd like to motion to approve resolution 2021-100, adopting the 2022 annual operating budgets, to approve resolution 2021-101, setting a final property tax levy for taxes payable to 2022, and to approve resolution 2021-102, adopting the 2022-2031 capital improvement plan.
Second.
A motion by
Oh.
Jeff, seconded by Brittany. Is there any discussion?
Madam Mayor, just point of order, Adam, do we need to take these one by one, or can we do them all in one group?
I think the motion would be fine either way. So whatever your preference, I think one motion is okay as long as each resolution is listed out. So, okay.
All right, any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Good work, Adam.
Yeah, Adam, thank you for all the hard work putting this together.
When,
Also,
when do we start, when we start up again?
probably like in 2 weeks.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It just seems like every time we get done, it's like, all right, our first budget meeting is January 1st or something.
Sooner than I want, Tom.
Oh, come on.
But again, thank you for putting this all together.
Yes.
So lots of workshops put into it, so also good job. All right, we will move on to city council reports and updates. Does anyone have anything? It's our last meeting this month, everybody. So,
I was just gonna say thank you again, Tom. You weren't quite here yet, but thank you for taking my calls this past year and just, I appreciate it. So thanks. That was for city staff, by the way. City staff, thank you for everything you've done.
It looks like you
Make
said
that
you were thinking
clear.
Tom.
You said
I'm not
Tom.
thinking. Okay,
You did all that? What?
I mean,
You didn't
thank
answer.
you. Tom, you're great.
Obviously with that look.
I was sitting there going like.
You're great, but city staff is really great.
I don't know if I can say welcome.
I meant to say you met you. I thanked everyone before, but you weren't here yet. Not that you were late, you just weren't here yet.
Okay.
So
that
I
clear.
just want
Alright.
to thank you again. Thanks,
Alright.
city staff.
Any other reports and updates?
What's going on over there, Tom?
Let's get off the record here. quick.
Yeah. All right, moving on to staff reports and updates. We'll start with Audra.
Mary, I have nothing to report.
And thank you for getting the cards for us and
Yes,
coordinating
thank
us
you.
all. So I did that. We could get that out to our commissioners. Thank you. All right, Adam.
I'm gonna take one out of Dan's book and say happy holidays, everyone.
There you go.
And yeah, that's all I have.
That's it.
Keep it short. I've done
Okay.
enough talking already.
Okay.
Yes, you have.
Sabrina.
Thank you, Mayor. Just year end coming up, so it'll be a busy time for payroll and stuff like that. But other than that, utility recruitment's going on, so fun stuff. Happy holidays.
All right. Dave.
I'll take one out of Dan's book now. And say happy holidays. Beyond that, I have nothing to report.
Okay. Ron. And you don't. Okay. All right, Dan.
Mayor, the planning commission is going to have one more meeting next Monday to consider a preliminary plat for the Curto property east of Harvest Run East and north of River Point, 105 single family lots from Lennar. So we'll try and get that one done before the end of the year, and that would be on your agenda early next year. And of course, happy holidays to you and yours.
Tom, you got a question?
Madam Mayor, Dan, how many building permits have we done residential this year?
We are at 402 with 29 in process, so slightly ahead of last year.
Do you think we'll get those 29 done this year?
It all depends on whether the builders want to come in and pay for them this year, or if they want to wait till after the first year.
And not to take one out of your book, but Merry Christmas, everyone.
All right, and we still have Jason in the back for an update.
Just glad I'm known for spreading good cheer to everybody.
Yeah.
A lot of positivity going on, and then here I come.
Uh-oh. So you're not wishing us happy holidays?
Maybe.
Oh.
Again, trying to be quick.
One of the things we've kind of been facing recently, and the courts have been trying to try to keep up here. With everything that went on last year, we didn't have any court. They really tried their best trying to do Zoom courts that could only go so far. They had a lot of issues with that. A lot of whether it was the clientele or the courts themselves having issues with the courts with Zoom. They couldn't keep up by any means. Obviously, all the in-person was completely shut down. So they have been absolutely trying to almost bombard us with court dates. So, for example, I had 3 court dates this morning, just for a simple Monday on my day off. So that's always fun. They've been trying to do, I believe they're kind of calling them catch-up days. So I think like last Friday, they were basically coming in just like having like these settlement days. Like, can we bring in some of these smaller court cases, whether it's some minor driving stuff or driving without a license? Can we get these things just sorted out? Can we just get these fines paid off and just get it off of our calendar? I think at one point they were literally down like 4,000 or 5,000 cases that they are kind of backwards on. So they're trying to do their best, and that just extends to, and down the line that extends to anything. Probation, they're trying to keep up with different things on how to react with that. That same thing with warrants. We end up with this kind of bombardment of warrants. Hennepin County obviously completely overwhelmed with their numbers, to the point where we're finding people with Hennepin County warrants where we think, okay, well, this person probably is gonna have to go spend the weekend in jail or whatever, and Hennepin County does not want anything to do with them because they're completely bombarded with everything they have. So it's just been kind of a mess and a balance where it's like, well, hold on, let's figure out. We've got to make a lot of phone calls in the middle of the night to figure out who's got a new policy, and with all the different state guidelines with COVID, it changes literally from day to day. We could have one guideline one night, the next night it's completely different. So it's been kind of weird. Speaking with the supervisor that supervises all the school resource officers, it has been one wild year so far for schools. I know I brought it up at least one point, maybe about a month or 2 ago when school started. They are absolutely, he's never seen it. I mean, he brought it up in a meeting. He's never seen school in this manner. There's more incidents that we've had to investigate, whether it's during school or after school hours. I know simply from a confirmation bias, I see them in the middle of the night where random reports are coming in from social media, whatever the case is, and we're trying to look at them in the middle of the night, trying to look at it, and then it obviously extends in the morning, trying to figure out what level of threats we have, what do we need to do, to the point where it's like, geez, do we do this every single time? It's been a little chaotic on that. So he's been extremely busy and taking a lot of phone calls on his time off. So with that, it sounds like they tried to arrest the mascot over the Grinch.
Yes, did you like that?
One of the deputies there was a hard charger, so he's probably sitting there chalking up
Right.
that as an arrest.
We should have shared that. So for people that don't know, we had our Santa event this last weekend, and so the officers came in and I said, "Can we get a photo with you with the Grinch? It'll be funny." So I sent it to Jason and then to Sean Derringer, and Sean was like, "I love it. We might use it on social media if that's okay." So actually, Mr. Tanner's on Zoom, and he was the Grinch for us. He played that at the event. So
Played a good Grinch.
You
Yeah.
played a great.
people really liked the Grinch.
That's all I have.
All right, well, thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
Have good holidays.
All right, does anyone else have anything? A motion to adjourn would be in order.
So
Second.
Motion by Tom, seconded by Tina. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, same sign. Thank you all for attending tonight. And again, as everyone else said, happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everyone.
All right, so we have the rest of the meeting up front, everybody. Did you say Toyota?
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, I was like. Toyota thought?